Besides those limitations I mentioned in the previous lecture, there also is another ChatGPT and also in general large language model limitation you should be aware of. The input you're sending to ChatGPT is kind of limited. Or put in other words, you can't send super large amounts of inputs to ChatGPT. Because ChatGPT, or to be precise, those GPT models that are being used under the hood, have a token limit. Now you might recall, tokens are these things which are used instead of words. And as mentioned earlier, a token can be a word, but also be a part of a word. And tokens have these IDs, which are then used by the model. But it's all about these tokens in the end, therefore. And these GPT models have token limits, and the exact limit simply depends on the GPT model that is being used. This token limit, therefore, simply defines the maximum amount of text that can be handled by these GPT models, and therefore, of course, also by ChatGPT. And it's not just about the text you're passing to ChatGPT. Instead, since it is a chat, it's about the entire chat history. Because one huge advantage of ChatGPT is that it's a chat, and is that it keeps those old chat messages, your messages and its messages, in mind and considers them in combination with your new prompt whenever you're sending a new prompt to ChatGPT. This allows you to ask ChatGPT about something that might have been part of an earlier chat message. But therefore, of course, it's always the entire chat that has to be handled by ChatGPT as an input, and therefore it's the tokens of that entire chat that are taken into account by ChatGPT and that count towards that token limit. And these token limits, this limited context, really matters. For one, ChatGPT doesn't allow you to insert super long prompts. If you, for example, want to use ChatGPT to summarize a very long document and you paste in the entire document combined with your prompt, your question, ChatGPT might not accept this. But besides that, ChatGPT also simply starts to forget certain things as your chat history grows. If you go beyond that token limit, ChatGPT simply forgets certain things it already replied before or you already sent to ChatGPT before. And this token and context limit is therefore, of course, a very important limitation you should be aware of.
Now that we learned a lot about large language models, it's time to dive into the basics of ChatGPT. In this module, we will explore the user interface and will write our first prompts, now diving a bit deeper into this prompting logic than we did in the introduction module. We'll also have a closer look at the different GPT models. We mentioned that we have the 3.5 model and the 4 model, and now it's time to find out how these models differ. We'll also have a look at the more advanced features of ChatGPT. So we'll have a look at web browsing, at DALL-E to create and analyze images, and we'll also have a look at custom GPTs, so at these customized versions of ChatGPT. Lots of things to explore. Let's dive into this module. ChatGPT follows a very clear structure. Every conversation you hold in ChatGPT will be stored in a separate chat. ChatGPT is able to understand and memorize the context in a specific chat, but not between the different chats. So each chat is an isolated item, so to say. A chat is automatically created when a conversation is started. Chats are stored in this left sidebar here. Conversations are started and held in this right area in ChatGPT. To start a conversation, you can directly add your message down here in this box. For example, give me 5 family activities with kids for the weekend. This is now my message, my so-called prompt. Now the conversation started, ChatGPT creates the output, and whilst doing so, it adds the chat to my sidebar and automatically comes up with a name for this chat. With the 3 horizontal dots here, I can share this chat with other people with a specific link. I can also rename the chat or delete the chat. I can now continue my conversation in this specific chat or create another chat, another conversation with this pen icon up here. As mentioned, this chat is now not related to the other one that I created. In here, I can again come up with my own prompt, my own message, or use one of these predefined prompts that help me to easily get started with ChatGPT. This, for example, is some business-related prompt here where ChatGPT should give me a name for my bar, for example. Whilst ChatGPT is creating the answer, you shouldn't switch to other chats, by the way, because sometimes this interrupts the generation of the answer. Now we have created these 2 chats, and we obviously can switch between these 2. ChatGPT also has a randomness factor integrated. Therefore, even though you run the same prompts as I do, your answers will always look different. I can also make use of this randomness factor directly inside a conversation. So if I need more names for my bar, I could of course ask ChatGPT to do so. Give me more names. Then it adds additional names to my list. But instead of repeating this again and again, I can also just regenerate the answer. With that, ChatGPT will keep the initial answer it created, but then create new responses based on the same prompt. And I can always switch between the different answers it created for this specific message via these arrows here. With ChatGPT's context awareness, I can also go back to my family weekend fun chat here and dive a bit deeper into this third option, the family movie night. So I could say, regarding free, give me a list of 5 movies we could watch. ChatGPT knows that free refers to this third bullet point here, and it also knows that I want to have movies for a family night with kids. Therefore, I get this list of these movies which are perfect for a movie night with kids. So this is how the chats and the conversations work in a nutshell. Some more options to explore can be found down here when you click onto your username. You can customize ChatGPT in here. This will be covered a bit later in this module, so we'll skip this for the moment. And you can also access the settings. The settings here refer to general topics like the theme, and you can also delete or archive your chats in here, so if you want to have a clear sidebar. And inside the data controls, you can decide whether your chat history should be stored, which for the free and plus and also the team plans also means that your data is used to train the ChatGPT model. You can switch off this option, but then you can't switch between your chats, therefore I typically enable this option in here. Besides that, inside my settings, I can also export data or delete my account, but that's it basically. This only refers to the free version of ChatGPT though. If we switch now to the Plus version, you see that the general look and feel is the same. There are some core differences though. The first one is the Explore GPTs option. GPTs are custom versions of ChatGPT. You can either use GPTs created by other users or create own GPTs. So in simple words, such a GPT could be a travel planner for you. And instead of adding all the information regarding your preferences, so what kind of trips you like, to ChatGPT again and again, you can predefine the travel GPT that knows about your preferences for hiking, for example, for going to Latin America when doing trips, and so on. So if you ask your GPT then if he could plan your next trip, then the GPT is aware of all this information about all your preferences and is able to provide better recommendations for you. We'll explore these GPTs a bit later in this module. Additionally, inside your user account, you also have this My GPTs option now, which is again related to the GPTs. And inside the settings, you have some more options. You can define the AI voice. Currently, this only works for mobile devices though. You have better features access at the point in time when I'm recording this video. These are the plugins. The plugins will be disabled soon though. Therefore, you might find other better features in here at the point in time when you're watching this video. Data controls are equal to the ones we saw in the free version. And the builder profile is again related to the GPT topic. Therefore, we can skip this for the moment. The maybe most important difference though can be found if I create a new chat again and now select this ChatGPT 4 button up here. In the Plus version of ChatGPT, I can switch between the GPT-4 model and the GPT 3.5 model. In my free version, I only have GPT 3.5 available. For the GPT-4 model, I at least need the Plus version. So let's now see how these two models differ.